you want, what you gonna do when Sherry John Brown come for you?
Welcome to Three the Hard Way Sports Podcast. From three guys who talked sports together over lunch for over 10 years. Probably eating a Fudgy the Whale in that time.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bryan Galloway here with Three the Hard Way Sports Podcast. I'm here from Rumson, New Jersey, back from the political talk at Yankee Stadium. We have Alex Shanley. How are you, Alex?
I'm good. Living and dying. Yankees, Mets have been up and down. We're going to talk about that tonight. So I'm excited about that.
And from Parts Unknown, we have Michael Pipersek. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing well. We also want to talk about some football, and I'm kind of down on the Giants already. It's one weekend.
Me too, Mike. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, well, let's see what happens. Okay, let's start first. Let's start off where we kind of left off last week with Mike's buddy Kawhi Leonard. How is Kawhi? What happened since we last talked about Kawhi?
Ooh, do you want to take this one, Alex?
So there was a scandal. I think we talked about it briefly last time about how the Clippers are possibly circumventing the salary cap. And Pablo Torres, a reporter, came out and basically said that they used this company, Aspirations, who plants trees around the world, supposedly. And they basically made contributions to that company. And that company then paid Kawhi Leonard for no-show work. So he basically didn't have to do anything. It's a little less than he had to do nothing. Like, he could basically just say he didn't want to do anything, like if it was a promotional event or whatever. But he was kind of in there as a promotions person for them. And he's going to get paid like $28 million. And the company went bankrupt. And the guy got indicted for wire fraud. And now all this information is coming out that they were basically circumventing the salary cap by paying him. Now, what's come out since then is basically Kawhi was asking other teams for similar privileges when he became a free agent. Not necessarily no fee work, but no show work, but more focused around ownership and just crazy demands. So I think the story has more legs. Pablo Torres is standing by it. I think a lot of people came after him, including Mark Cuban. But he's standing by it and saying, hey, if you want to come after me, I got all the information. So it's interesting. It's and now the NBA is investigating, which I don't know if that's going to be fruitful or not, considering it's one of their owners and their owners are the NBA. But they're investigating themselves, I guess, to determine if this is a scandal or not.
Yeah, a couple of interesting details in that whole thing. The one was an article came out recently about how when Kawhi was a free agent, his uncle, who I think is his agent, went to the Raptors and said, well, as part of the contract, we also want $10 million for Kawhi to do nothing. Just get him a sponsorship deal where he does nothing. So that kind of lends itself to, hey, wait a minute, that sounds kind of like the deal he got over here in Clippers, which I think lends some credence to what Pablo Torre said. And then that whole, hey, this guy who owns 1% of the Clippers gave $1.99 million to Aspiration as they're about to go under. And then a few days later, or 9 days later, they pay Kawhi Leonard $1.75 million. There's a lot here that makes you
it's got to be unpackaged. Like, this is going to be a very big, they're going to have to do this the right way and find out. And if the NBA does not do something, they're going to look foolish. They really will. They have to do something.
But I think Alex made a really good point, and I agree. The NBA did hire a law firm to investigate. These are the owners, though. Like, it's not a good look if they find
Well, maybe he
another.
doesn't. Maybe the owner didn't know anything about it. It was his GM did it on the side.
Don't know. I don't know.
Well,
So
Aspirations was also they were paying the Clippers for promotion.
a lot of
So it was
money.
like, yeah, it was this whole crazy like circle of money.
Well, they could hire the same people that investigated the Epstein murder, and then nothing will happen, and they'll get by there.
The other weird part, and I don't know what the timing of all these things are. So the company in question here that Kawhi had a deal with was called Aspiration, and then Kawhi Leonard has an LLC called KL2 Aspire. Why are the names so similar?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's really strange. I don't know,
But the
but
Clippers have denied all the allegations, of course,
of
stating that
course,
the deal was with Aspiration and had nothing to do with them.
Well, of
So
course they're going to do that. I
I
mean,
know.
this might
I
be
just
one
had
of
to throw
these
that out
things
there.
where someone takes the fall, and the guy to take the fall is going to be
the
this.
guy from the bankrupt company, yeah. I mean,
No, it's going to be this limited partner, this Dennis J. Wong. They're going to. I think the punishment could end up being, well, Dennis Wong can't be an owner of the Clippers. He owns 1%. He's the guy who did this. He'll be determined. My prediction will be, he will be determined through the course of this investigation to have been a lone wolf operative doing
Hmm.
this behind the scenes with
yeah.
Kawhi Leonard.
I like
Steve
that.
Ballmer would let that happen, right?
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And then he'll just slip that guy something
Steve
else.
Ballmer knows everything that's going on with every cent he has in that company. You know that.
Right.
I like that take, Mike. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, I could see that happening.
So that's a clean way for this to happen. Well, Steve Ballmer didn't know anything about it. Dennis Wong kind of did this. Steve Ballmer can come out and say, "I don't know. I didn't know that Dennis Wong was doing this. I categorically deny being involved, and I condemn Dennis Wong for this. And the punishment is Dennis Wong loses his 1%. Maybe they do something like they take
What
a
Well,
about Kawhi?
they,
What about
they,
Kawhi?
well, no, Dennis Wong gets paid out, right? You can't be an owner. Here's your money,
exactly, yeah.
right? Right?
So he's
For your
done. Steve
1% of the
Ballmer's
team.
fine. Maybe you take a draft pick away, like the NFL sometimes does with teams that do something. Well, the team is guilty here. Dennis Wong is as a limited partner affiliated with the team, so we have to punish the team. We take away a second round pick or something from the Clippers.
Well,
Something.
but here's the potential penalties that I'm reading online, right? So potentially, they said severe penalties, including a fine of $7.5 million. That's nothing,
That's like
right?
finding me $20.
Exactly. Forfeit of draft picks. That's big. Voiding of Kawhi Leonard's contract.
Yeah,
That would be big. And suspension for team personnel involved. That's your Dennis Wong
that's
connection there.
Dennis
So,
Wong. I don't think
but
they're
in
voiding the contract.
2015, they were fined $250,000 for a similar violation with DeAndre Jordan's free agency.
Ooh, the Clippers?
Yeah,
$250,000.
$250,000 in 2015.
Well, I heard about. Okay, so here's the thing about with that. I heard that whole situation. There were some shaky things going on with the State Farm. You remember how when those guys got traded to the Clippers, they ended up showing up on a State Farm commercial? Do you
Chris
remember
Paul
that?
was in that, right?
Yeah, Chris Paul was the guy, but also remember that at his house was whatever his
DeAndre
DeAndre
Jordan.
Jordan and all those guys. They were at his house for one of those commercials, and I think that was all part of the deal that they got to get that exposure on the commercials for signing with the contract. Yeah, I've heard that too. That's another thing. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. A lot of discussion on like the NBA channels. They're talking about all this stuff, and there's a lot of shaky stuff going on.
And
So
this goes back to the old, how much money do you need,
yeah,
Mhm.
right?
36 or 38 million, I'll be fine with either one. It doesn't bother me. I'm like, if you say, give me another 7 million, what does that matter? I mean, okay, it's another Lamborghini. I don't understand. At a certain point, how much do you need? You're right. And second of all, at a certain point with the taxes, it really doesn't matter anyway, because I think the taxes are so high once you hit a certain level, right? So
Yeah,
I don't
I think Kawhi Leonard's contract was for around 170 million, and then this deal with Aspiration was 4 years, $28 million. And the other crazy thing is that there was a clause in one of the contracts that said the deal between Aspiration and Kawhi Leonard would be voided if Kawhi Leonard left the Clippers, which is
You know
also
what? So here's another deal. They should take what they should do is this. Okay, they find him guilty. Guess what? You lose 2 draft picks, Clippers. Okay, fine, you're fined. Whatever, Mr. Wong, you lose your ownership. I agree with that. That's a pretty good thing. But then Kawhi needs something. So Kawhi, sorry, you're banished to the Abu Dhabi Basketball League for 2 years to go play in 125-degree weather, and then come back after 2 years.
you
Like,
could
like,
just send them to the Hornets too.
yeah.
He made $57 million last year.
What's that?
He made $57 million.
And how many games did he play?
No.
40, 50 maybe. If I doubt more than 50. I just shocked. Yeah, I'm not shocked though, because he's a strange character. Like, you think, go back to his Spurs days. The guy's a strange dude. He's a very strange dude.
Well, and I don't think he can be in commercials because I don't think he's like good like that. You know, in front of the,
it's like
in front of the
weird
microphone.
laughing. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I don't think he wants to be in commercials either.
well, between him and Kyrie Irving, who's weirder?
Oof.
Kyrie's at least
They're,
entertaining.
they're different weird.
Yeah.
He's not a flat earther though. At least, so that's
true.
We don't know. He doesn't say anything.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't talk much. Yeah, I don't know, guys. It's sad. It's sad. I don't want to hear. I don't want to see these things. It's just so stupid. We're going to see more people betting on games. We're going to see more. We knew it was going to happen. We've even predicted it on this show. We're going to see more betting. It's going to happen. It's going to happen like crazy. So we'll see. We'll see more stuff that goes on. But you notice how who's the dude that got caught with the blue eyes? What's his name? Who's the guy right now recently? The player, NBA player got caught, or at least, yeah, Beasley, right?
Well, he got exonerated, right?
Yeah, but there's still people.
But
it's
the
not
league
official.
is now doing an investigation. Yeah.
So I don't think.
Yeah.
I think there's more to it.
Yeah.
If I was a team, would you give him a couple $1 million? There's no way I would do that.
Yeah, Terry Rozier.
And he's a decent player. He's pretty good. But no. Yeah,
But just the clips they showed, like he's racing up the court to do a layup when they're down 19 points to make it 17 points, and the over was I forget 18 or I forget what it was, but it was just like, I don't know if it's just
it's
coincidence or not.
It's crazy. No.
That to me, that whole gambling thing is so out of control. Everybody was against it, and now you're watching a game on ESPN and they're promoting their own sports book and giving you live updates on the line as it's happening. I'm like, this is some disaster. No wonder everybody's going to get implicated in gambling.
But the thing is, there's got to be somebody who at these betting sites that's watching. Wow, there's a big run on the 12th man for the Sixers. Get over and under of 1 point. Like, what is that? I mean, why would you ever bet on that?
That's how they're justifying it, though. They're saying, well, now that's all on the up and up because we're now watching that more closely and we have more sophisticated tracking and we're able to now know when, betting becomes irregular on a specific game around a person. But I mean, come on, give me a break. So the guy that's betting $1,000, you're not catching that, or $10,000.
And second of all, if the irregular betting's happening and they don't have to pay out, they're not going to say a word on it either.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And there's too much money involved now, right? Like, it's never going to go away because there's a whole industry built around it now. And so now it's like, well, it's okay if somebody's getting paid $30 million on the side, or they're betting $1 million here, or Shohei Ohtani, I forget what that was up to, some crazy amount of money, right? Because the overall industry is now in the billions and hundreds of billions of dollars, right? So,
and have you guys ever been to one of the sports books at the casinos, especially in Vegas? Holy moly!
Yeah,
like it's like the coolest thing in the world. You go there, you sit down, there's like lounge chair. They have like 5,000 TVs all over the place. You watch your games. You maybe make a bet. They bring you free drinks. I mean, it's a big thing now.
Huge board they have. They have a
Yeah,
huge board.
it's
Yeah.
actually pretty cool. Like if you want to go and not bet much and you're really not going to drink a whole lot, you don't care, you just want to go watch the games. It's better than going to a sports bar. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So if you ever have that opportunity, but yeah, it's crazy. I'm shocked. Well, and I know. Did you hear this one? G, Gary Payton Jr. Right, good
Mhm.
defensive player. Used to play in the Warriors. I think he's a free agent still. I don't know, or he might have signed somewhere. He just invested a lot of money in the new professional skateboard league.
Yes.
So that might be another thing we could talk about. Maybe we could do our predictions for that league in a couple of weeks on an episode. I really don't know any of the players yet. I'll have to see who's in
I
it.
mean, is that just like burning your money,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like I have so much money, I'm just going to invest in a skateboarding league.
I
That's crazy.
don't know.
Who's his advisor?
Exactly. I was laughing so hard when I saw there was an article in the Warriors page. They were talking about it, and I'm like,
Put it in an
what?
index fund and
What
forget about
national?
it.
Yeah, what skateboard league? I didn't even know there was a skateboard league.
What
Do
do
they,
I
do they
need,
have fantasy? Do they have fantasy for that? Yeah,
what, do, what do I need to do to become a financial planner for sports
I
athletes?
know.
No,
They need it. They need
so
help.
simple. It seems so simple, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, we're going to take 85% of your money, we're going to invest it for you, and I'm going to give you an allowance, basically. That's what they did with Allen Iverson a few years ago after he went bankrupt so many times. They just put him on an allowance.
Or like Gronk, right? He never spent his paychecks. He just would do endorsements and stuff, and
Yeah,
he'd spend that money. Like
yeah.
it's not that
My
they're making so much money. It's like,
a guy who was in my fraternity. His daughter's dating Bryan Wu of the Mariners, the pitcher.
oh yeah,
And he said that he said that the agent like monitors everything the guy does, like every place he goes, every place I think he does, wherever he's spending money, doing all things like that. So he's watching him really closely, which is probably what you should do with the young kids nowadays.
I heard this. I heard this interview with Chandler Parsons recently, where his father was managing his money, and he was talking about how he was playing against the Lakers one night, and Kobe Bryant said he was going to hook him up after the game at like this really trendy restaurant in LA. And Chandler Parsons thought he was messing with him. No, it turns out to be real. So Chandler Parsons and his buddies go out with go out to this place in LA that Kobe set them up with, and they expected Kobe to show up, and Kobe doesn't show up, but they're eating, they're drinking, all this other stuff, and the bill comes, and it's like $18,000, and Chandler Parsons is freaking out because he's like, my father is going to kill me because he's going to see that I spent $18,000 in one night, and he said that the waitress then comes up to him and says, just sign the name Kobe Bryant on here. Because Kobe
Jeez.
Bryant,
So Kobe stuck to his word.
yeah, like paid for it. So he was nervous because he thought Kobe was playing a prank on him, getting him into this place, all this food, and then Kobe like doesn't show up or something, and he's thinking, oh, I'm gonna be stuck with the bill. But the waitress, like I guess Kobe had called ahead and said, hey, I'm gonna take care of this. Just have him sign my name or something. And so
Yeah, he's a stand-up guy. That's cool.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that because a lot of those guys are not. A lot of those
Yeah.
people they
well,
blow.
I mean, Kobe's got his issues, guys.
Oh wait.
Or-
Oh, what was that hotel in Colorado? Colorado, yeah, I know.
Yeah. But again, how do you spend $18,000 at a restaurant?
I have no idea.
If
Bottles.
you bring Chris Rugg and he tries to order the most expensive, that's it's funny. You laugh about this, but I'll never forget that day we went to some restaurant and he orders $1,000 bottle of wine and I'm like, holy crap, or what? And I call Bill and I go, Bill, this is crazy. He goes, don't worry, just let it go. I'll approve it. And I'm like, okay. And me, it was me, Yasser, and him, and of course Yasser doesn't drink it. I don't even like wine, so it was like the craziest thing. But like, so I can imagine money goes really quick. If you have a bunch of people at a table and they're ordering stuff, 18,000, you could do that.
Well,
I don't know how many people.
Mike said it was Chandler Parsons and a couple buddies.
Yeah, some of his friends. Yeah, I don't know how many of them. I can't remember how many of them it
They all
was.
order the tomahawk steak. They order a bunch of expensive drinks.
I guess.
Yeah,
I brought some girls over to sit with them. Who knows?
the wagyu
No.
beef. I want wagyu beef. It's whatever. I mean, you could do that. I mean, we've had some business dinners just in the last couple of months that were like $4,000, but there was like 6 of us. But yeah, I don't know. I can't 18,000 to me is not outrageous. If it was like 100,000, it's a different story. But no, have you ever seen these people on? I don't know. There's a Facebook page that talks about this, like people that get ripped off and people that go to strip bars and they don't know what they're signing off, and all of a sudden they get the bill back and it's like
Yeah.
$110,000, for at a strip bar, like, and there's on an expense account. And how do you get that signed off from your boss?
Yeah. And they're
Well, that's how
generally
the
inebriated
NFL,
when they're signing it.
Yeah,
from the players union got fired.
that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, so Alex, it could happen easily. I mean, it's not
No,
going to happen if you
no,
go
I
to White
know. I'm
Castle.
just
If you go to White Castle, it's not going to happen. But if you get $18,000 and you go to White Castle, then you know something's wrong. I mean, like,
yeah. I'm just saying, like you're going into a restaurant and it's $18,000 for a dinner for 3-4 guys. I mean, that's a lot.
These guys don't travel.
And I
light.
realize that, but wine will go get crazy. But
Yeah.
and again, I don't even who knows if these guys are that much of eaters. Are they big eaters? Like you need somebody there. Like you need somebody there who's going to actually pound away the food.
Like
It would
me.
really suck if they only took a couple bites and they left it there.
You need
Well,
me. I'll
Kobe
order like
picked it
3
up.
dinners.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know. But yeah, that's. I just want to also say that one of our sponsors, we have a sponsor now, Clamato, the drink that everybody likes when you're having a tough day working out in the hot sun. There's nothing better than a nice glass of Clamato with the crunchy shells on the bottom. No, I'm
is it
kidding.
Motto or
Clamato.
Mato?
Clamato.
Clamato.
Motto. It's Motto. It's Motto.
Motto?
Motto.
I say
It's very
Clamato.
popular in
You
other
say
states.
Clamato.
Very popular in other states, but not near us. But
I say
even
Clamato.
and if you really like alcohol, you can have Clamato with Bud or Bud Light. Ugh. Anyway,
You made me drink that one time. At work.
I made a lot of people. Remember Lynn?
Yeah.
Remember Lynn? Lynn
Yeah.
had it.
I didn't partake in that thing.
I still don't know how they've been in business for like 50, 60 years. I don't know. They're always on every shelf of every grocery store. You see it, Clamato. I'm like, what? Anyway, okay. So let's move on to the next topic. This week was the first week of the National Football League, and how depressed were you afterwards? Like I was. Let's start. Alex, you go first.
Well, I was watching the Jets and the Giants, and the Jets were playing great, Brian. Like, at least there's hope. I realize they lost. I realize Aaron Rodgers had a big game. At least they put up points, 32 points. Justin Fields actually looked pretty good. I don't know if he can keep it up. I don't know if the Steelers D just, wasn't that good. Usually it's a good team, but whatever. But then I'm watching the Giant game, and they're inside that I think they ran 12 plays inside the 10-yard line and couldn't score a touchdown.
Pitiful.
Yeah, it's just it's every year it's the same thing. And I try to support the coach, but it's the same thing every year. They can't score until like week 4 or 5. And by that point, the season's over. So I'm hoping they turn it around. I'm hoping just the Commanders end up being really, really good this year. But it was actually a football game. As poorly as the Giants were playing, they were, like I said, they were inside the 10. They kicked a couple field goals. They made it 6. If they had scored those 2, it would have been 14-14.
Yeah.
And later in the game, the Commanders went down and scored another touchdown. But the Giants defense actually played pretty well. They were a little mixed up at the beginning and gave up the 2 touchdowns early, and then they kind of settled down, and there were no points. I'm not sure if it was the third or fourth quarter that they scored the third touchdown. It was the fourth quarter. They scored the third touchdown, yeah. But beyond that, I think Commanders had like 50 yards of offense. But the Giants just couldn't do anything. It was like the offensive line looked terrible. Russell Wilson looked terrible. So, they have to get Andrew Thomas back. It doesn't look like he's going to get to play in week 2. So, it could just be another tough week against the Cowboys. And the other thing is the Cowboys look good against the Eagles.
Yeah.
I thought the Giants would be favored against the Cowboys. They look good against the Eagles. So who knows? But yes, it was a depressing weekend for sure. My fantasy football team won. Thank you to James Cook and his 50-some-odd yard run. But other than that, it was tough, But there's a couple games I want to call out. So I don't know what's wrong with the Dolphins, but the Miami Dolphins stink.
They got
Oh
hammered.
my God. Daniel Jones looked like Bart Starr there for the entire game. I think he had 2 rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown. He just looked like he was on fire. So good for him. I'm happy to see that. And the Dolphins just looked horrendous. The whole game they looked horrendous. So Tua didn't look like he knew what he was doing. The defense looked terrible. So that's one team to keep an eye on definitely in week 2, see if they have a bounce back or not.
What do you think? How many weeks do you give over under on their coach getting fired?
Well, I think that's a big one. I think he's, because he's a real quirky guy.
Yeah.
I think he's a really smart offensive, guy, but I think them sticking with Tua too long, I think that's what's going to cost him his job, I think. And again, you got to keep Tua because you don't have a guy behind him. But, I think sticking with him could be a big, big mistake. Some other surprises. The Raiders look good. The 49ers didn't look good, but won. The Packers looked great against the Lions. The Lions did not look good at all.
Awful on offense.
They did not. No.
Yeah. So, you just never know from year to year. That's the NFL, right? Like, and even you have to take the first, what do you guys think? 3 weeks with a grain of salt, 4 weeks. It's like they're still trying to figure their teams
Yeah, 3
out
to
and
4
what their
weeks.
identity is.
Yeah.
But then we had 2 great games to end it, right? The Ravens and Bills, that was a great game. And then the Vikings and the Bears was a great game. And I got to admit it, man, I was not a JJ McCarthy guy, but in the fourth quarter, he proved what he's worth. So we'll see if he can keep it rolling. But in the first 3 quarters, I was shaking my head. He couldn't throw a pass, beyond 10 yards. Has a strong arm, but just couldn't connect. And was running around a little too early, and then in the fourth quarter he seemed to settle in and put 21 points on the board. So I would say week 2, keep an eye on JJ McCarthy, keep an eye on the Indianapolis Colts, and keep an eye on the Dolphins to see what happens with them.
That's interesting. Okay, Mike, what did you think of the first week?
To the JJ McCarthy point, yeah, he looked great in the fourth quarter. I think he's just in a great situation playing under Kevin O'Connell, who's just a great offensive coach and just does a great job with quarterbacks. He
may be the best coach in the league.
I mean, he had Kirk Cousins, who was fantastic for them, and I've always kind of liked Kirk Cousins, but Sam Darnold was fantastic last year. And so that's why with JJ McCarthy coming in, I was thinking, okay, he might be okay because he spent the whole year probably studying with Kevin O'Connell every week, and he's got Justin Jefferson, who's a fantastic receiver. So I'm like, I think he's got the right pieces, and they're a very
good offensive line.
Yeah, good offensive line. The one that I was a little bit disappointed in was Caleb Williams. Number 1 pick. I think he's got a really good coach in Ben Johnson, who was the Lions offensive coordinator, and he played okay, but there were some throws he missed. So I'm curious to see how he bounces back. If the Bears could be decent, that division is incredible. The Packers.
Yeah, it looked like Caleb was overthrowing guys a lot. He had guys open. He was just missing them.
And I don't
like Zach Wilson. They reminded me of Zach Wilson.
And a couple
totally open guy that I could have hit.
Yeah.
He's missing him by 10 yards.
Yeah, so that was a little bit disappointing because he had, last season he played, and he's got a really good coach who I'm sure has spent the offseason building him up and getting him prepared for, hey, here's how it's going to be. So, it was a really exciting game, and the Bears were right there in the game, led most of the way until J.J. McCarthy's heroics. So I was a little bit disappointed in how the Bears kind of finished that game. So if they could be decent, that whole division is great with the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions in there as well. I thought
that game was decided at halftime because that game was decided at halftime. Whatever the Chicago Bears saw at halftime and the adjustments they made and the adjustments the Vikings made, it was like night and day.
Night and day, because going into halftime, the Bears were in command.
Yeah, dominant.
Yeah. I thought the Jets looked really good. Watching that game was much more intriguing to me to watch than the Giants. I just thought the Giants were awful. So I was watching the Jets game with interest, and I was not surprised that Aaron Rodgers had a great game. You just knew that would happen. He looked like vintage Aaron Rodgers. So I couldn't tell if it's just Aaron Rodgers, kind of a 1 week wonder against the Jets. I'm curious to see how he responds, but I thought the Jets looked pretty good. I mean, I think there's hope there. And I thought Aaron Glenn was really like they showed him on the sideline in the fourth quarter, like smiling, like he was having fun in the role. I think the fan base was excited at the game. Bryan, you'll tell us how you feel about it, but I think the Steelers had cut it to two, the Jets were returning a kick and they fumbled the kickoff return. That guy got cut the next day, and Aaron Glenn was very consistent in saying, we do not want to lose games, and if you're making mistakes, we're going to cut you. So I was like, whoa, he's sending a message right away, which I thought was good for the Jets.
Guess who picked him up?
Because the culture's not been great there.
Don't tell me the Giants.
The Giants signed him today.
Oh, tell you the truth, I like him. He's a good guy. He was on the when the Jets were on the HBO thing, Hard Knocks. He was a good story on that show.
Mm-hmm.
But
but I saw the interview with Aaron Glenn, and he was like, "Look, he's a good guy. This is not a decision based on one play or anything like that. It's just but you're right.
Supposedly
he's sending a message.
He didn't win the job, but Glenn gave him the job. That's supposedly what I heard.
Because the other guy's hurt.
He was horrible, and he was horrible in preseason.
Yeah, the other guy was hurt.
Yeah. So
anyway,
okay. So,
but Bryan, how do you feel like the Jets did everything they needed to do on offense, and the defense give it away again?
And they still had So
and the defense is supposed to be that team.
Yeah, here's my take. So I was watching the game. The offense seemed to do very well. They blocked. They did a good job protecting the quarterback. The Jeremy Ruckert, for the first time in 3 years, actually played good. I think because he's finally had competition. I was very surprised to see him play well, and he did. The receivers were good. They need a second receiver, and we knew that before the season started, right? They don't have a second receiver. Wilson gets double teamed. That's going to be a pain. That's going to be difficult. The tight ends have to step up. So if they do that, we might be okay. The running backs were great. I have no issue with them. I loved, the quarterback, everything about the way he played was great. He did everything. All the stuff I was worried about, his passes were crisp.
Yeah.
They were line drive on target. So, and I love the fact that that Wilson and him have a rapport, because just that play, the touchdown play, I think that was a broken play that he just said go, and he knew where to go. And like, that was amazing. I love that to me, I haven't seen it from the Jets in years, right? Because Rodgers did not play good as a Jet. I mean, you could say what you want, he did not. So that was great. Defense, the front four played great. They got to Rodgers a bunch of times, but
who can't move.
Yeah, right. So all Rodgers did was stay away from Sauce Gardner, and he picked on everybody else. And the guy they got from the Ravens, Sanders, should have also been cut. He was terrible. Every time there was a bad play, it was him. And then he got two bad penalties. And the other thing too is the Jets over the last couple of years have come up with penalties at the wrong time. And there was 3 in this game that to me were just unforgivable. And I know Glenn supposedly was talking about those. They were just penalties that shouldn't have happened at the wrong time. Like, 3rd and long, don't get a roughing the passer, don't do these stupid, don't get into a fight with your offensive lineman and get a penalty. These kind of stupid things. That's the way the Jets have been playing the last couple of years, and it happened again. So the fumble was horrible, right? Because they got 2 scores right in a row.
Yeah,
momentum was gone. But the penalties killed them a couple times and made the defense stay on the field longer than they had to. These kind of things were bad. I think the one good thing with the run game is that they're going to give the defense more time to rest. But if people start committing stupid penalties, it's just going to work against them. So we have to get that taken care of. I was depressed after the game because they should have won it. That's what bothered me more than anything else. They should have won the game. There was no doubt they had it, and they didn't close. And again, the Jets never close. And just like in the first quarter, they hadn't scored a first quarter touchdown in I don't know how long, and they had a chance to, and they made a stupid play, didn't score. Then they had a field goal, and then they had the extra point missed. And instead of trying to kick it again, they tried to go for a two point conversion. Didn't work. like stuff like that. I know the Lions did that stuff, but it was his first game. He should have been conservative. If he was conservative, they would have won the game. So I'm upset. I didn't walk away from that. I can't. I've been a Jet fan too long to say, hey, it's a victory anyway. No, no, it's not. It's not a victory. We didn't win the game. I don't care.
Yeah,
So
I'm with you on that, Brian. I could see why you're disappointed because when we were talking about this a little bit last week, like that would have been a great way for the Jet season to begin because the schedule is going to be tough. I mean, they're playing the Bills in week 2, they're at Tampa, they're at Miami in week 4, which should be a win, right? Because the Dolphins look so bad. But then they've got the Cowboys, the Broncos. There's some tough games in there, right? So it would be great to see the Jets be able to build some momentum with some wins, and that would have been a great way to start. So yeah, I agree. It's got to be disappointing to see the offense play so well, and then the defense, who you'd rely on to normally have a good game, and especially against an ancient Aaron Rodgers playing his first game for the Steelers, to come through would have been great. I've always kind of liked Justin Fields though, liked him at
no,
Ohio
Justin
State.
Fields is. I've never hated him.
Yeah,
Again, he's not the reason they lost, guys. He's
no,
not. Like, not even close.
But
yeah,
I don't think he's going to be the reason they win a big game down the road. That's the problem you have with Justin Fields
yeah.
right now,
No,
right?
it's
He's
gonna.
just
Yeah.
if it's the fourth quarter and you need 10 points,
Mhm.
do you really have confidence that he's going to do that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, yeah. That's the
That's the
problem.
other thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Want to be
here's
a game manager. Want to be a game manager, but the
Oh,
defense
yeah.
has to perform for that.
yeah. So let's talk. There's a couple games I want your opinion on. So this is a very complete opposite. A team that really I thought had a bad defense ended up playing great defense, but they couldn't score. The Bengals Browns. Now the Bengals did win, but I just don't understand what happened to their offense.
I don't know. Yeah, 17 points only. I expected because this is a team I'm really excited about this season.
Yeah.
Big Joe Burrow fan. So I guess the way I'm selling this one to myself is, hey, look, they got a bad game of Joe Burrow who threw for 113 yards. That's like 2 drives worth for
Yeah.
him. Threw for 113 yards, didn't throw any interceptions. I'm like, okay, great. They found a way to win. So in my mind, I was like, all right, well, they
And they
found a way
couldn't
to
run the
win,
ball
I
either.
guess.
They couldn't run the ball. I mean, they had 43 yards
Yeah.
rushing or 46 yards rushing.
Yeah, didn't do anything on
yeah,
offense
yeah,
at all.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the Browns have a good defense. I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have to give
they're
them some
tough, and,
credit.
and they're very good against the run as well. Like they've
Yeah.
been one of the few teams, the Browns, that slow down Derrick Henry when they play the Ravens. So just a little surprised to see
Joe
that.
Joe Flacco almost threw for 300 yards, and he did throw a touchdown. He gave up 2 interceptions, but
Yeah.
even like Flacco, I can't believe that guy. He was
Amazing.
throwing
Amazing.
bombs. So another interesting one to me was the Cardinals and Saints. The Cardinals look better than I thought they were going to be.
The Saints are terrible.
No, the Saints are terrible,
They
but
are
the
awful.
Cardinals themselves played really good.
Yeah.
I'm high on them now. I wasn't.
What about
The Jaguars slaughtered the Panthers, but I knew that was going to happen. Now the other big one, Chargers against the Chiefs. Chargers being the Chiefs. What do you think about that game?
It was in Brazil. Like to me, those are like wacky games, and I think the Chargers needed that win. It was kind of a statement win
Yeah.
to start the season. But the Chiefs are like decimated, right? Worthy gets hurt in the game.
Yep.
Rashee Rice can't play in the game because he's suspended. So they're really they need wide receivers, and I think Worthy is hoping to come back. Hollywood Brown had a big game, but that's kind of how Harbaugh wins, right? Like he's just going to put up some points every quarter and grind it out. And Herbert threw the ball a lot. I think they were expecting to stop the run, and they were able to throw the ball all over the park. So I think Herbert really stepped up in that game. Over 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. He looked great.
Yeah, only 3 quarterbacks threw over 300 yards: Herbert, Geno Smith,
Yeah.
and Josh Allen, who almost threw for 400.
The AFC West is going to be a fun division.
Yeah.
I mean,
And only 3 running backs went for 100 yards: Derrick Henry,
yeah.
Travis Etienne, and
Yeah.
Etienne, whatever, and Brees Hall. So only three.
Brees Hall had some good runs.
A lot of people had 100 yards. Wide receivers: Zay Flowers, Puka Nakua, Jackson Smith, Njigba, whatever his name is,
Njigba.
Keon
Njigba.
Coleman, C.D. Lamb, Ricky Pearsall, Keyshawn Boutte of who's that? What team is he on? The Patriots. Brock Bowers, who I like a lot.
Yeah, he's great.
Bijan Robinson, and out of the dusty rafters, with brushing off the cobwebs, Hollywood Brown had 99 yards, which
10
you haven't
catches.
heard from him in 4 or 5 years.
Because they don't have anybody else.
Yeah. Oh, I used to love Hollywood Brown, but he gets hurt every year.
Yeah.
So it's been a very interesting. It was a very interesting first week. Like a lot of
Good
things
start.
I didn't
I would say a
realize.
very good start. Usually the first week can be really sloppy and ugly, but there were a lot of good games to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good
I
working week.
liked it. It was good. I mean that. Okay, so that's good. I'm looking forward to this week. We'll see what happens. The Jets are going to get slaughtered by the Bills. What do you think the Giants are going to have?
The Jets usually play the Bills pretty good because they're at home, right? Again, the Jets are at
they're
home
at
again.
but that's not going to
Yeah.
make a difference.
I mean, they won last year without Aaron Rodgers. They beat them.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't see that happening. Okay,
The Giants are away again.
Giants
Giants
They're
play
at
the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dak
I
Prescott's beat
don't
them
think
13
Giants
times
will.
in a row. So I hope the Giants win, but I'm
Okay,
not
how
rooting for them.
about the Bears Lions? What do you guys think there?
Lions in a big bounce back game.
Yeah.
But the Bears need this game. If they lose this second game, they're going to be
How about
in
Broncos Colts? That's gonna be a
Daniel
good game.
Jones.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Bo Nix is good.
Yeah, I like the Broncos. I like Bo Nix. Do you guys think the Raiders are going to be anything with Pete Carroll?
Yes.
They have a good running back and a good receiver. They're good.
Yeah.
They're going to score points, Mike. They're
And
gonna
Geno
score
Smith
points.
knows his system. So
Yeah, they're going to score points.
Pete Carroll will keep them in games, defense
They're
and
playing
running.
the Chargers this week.
And
That's
they
at Monday
have
night. That's Monday night next week. Good choice. Good game.
Yeah.
There's 2 Monday night games.
Yeah,
the
Buccaneers, Texans, which will be a good game too.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the Texans lost this week.
I have a ton of guys on my fantasy team that play on Monday, which stinks.
Eagles and Chiefs play also this week.
Yeah.
The Chiefs. I can't see the Chiefs dropping to 0-2.
I think the Eagles are going to beat them. They're not going to be able to beat the Eagles. They couldn't beat them last year. I seriously think the Eagles will win this game, but we'll see.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm in 5 fantasy leagues. I won 4, lost 1, so not bad.
Yeah,
I was pretty happy. And the one I lost, it was stupid. It was I made a mistake when I put in my lineup, so I made it. It was a user error. No, I was looking at guys. You know, sometimes you're looking at guys, especially if you're in a lot of gate leagues. You're looking at guys, and I thought I moved the guy, and what I did was I clicked on him. I never moved him, or I never made sure that it actually took place, and I jumped on to the next game, and I realized later that I didn't do it, and I was like so mad at myself, but it's my own fault. Okay, well, good. It's good first week. I think we're a little excited for football, baseball now. Let's really quick in the last couple of minutes. Baseball is heating up. Yankees and Mets. Are they both going to make the playoffs?
Well, at the beginning of the night, I would have said yes because the Mets were up 4-0. Now the Mets are down 6-4. And they've lost. This will be 3 straight to the Phillies. I mean, they are in a tailspin.
Yeah.
It's pitching with them, right? They just don't have the pitching. They try to bring young guys up to pitch. The bullpen is not good, just like the Yankees bullpen has been giving games up left and right. So I think the Mets will make the playoffs. I have them winning the World Series.
Yeah, no.
But
if the season ended today, they'd make the playoffs, but they're only 2 games ahead of the Reds and the Giants.
yeah,
and 3 games ahead of the Arizona Diamondbacks, and 4 games ahead of the Cardinals. So there's still 4 teams that could possibly get in.
yeah, but there's 16 games left, but the Mets are losing tonight. I don't know what the other teams are doing tonight.
Well,
I think the Mets are going to make it. I think they're better than the Reds and the Giants. So,
and I think the Yankees. I think the Yankees. I don't want to jinx them, but I think that they're playing much better now.
Yeah.
Even though in the last 10 they're only 5-5, so they're not. It's not like they're. What happens with the Yankees? And you tell me what's your observation on this? They'll have a good game and they'll score a lot of runs, and then they'll look like they're a little league team playing against. They can't hit. Then the next game they hit again. And I don't understand how that happens. So they're so inconsistent where it's almost baffling to me sometimes on how they are. If they were more consistent in the way they hit, they should have 95 wins in it right now.
But they've won 80 games,
Yeah.
Right.
which is still, that's a lot of games to win. So, but I agree, Brian. They're when they went out on this 12 games, they had 12 games against Detroit, Toronto, the Red Sox, and the Astros. I said if they come out of that 6-6, I'll be happy, right? So what are they at now? They're 5-5 in the last 10.
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of right where they should be.
But see, their run differential is 100 plus 120. So they've scored 120 more than they've given up, right?
Yeah.
No other team in the American League is even close. And
because they blow teams out.
Right, so they blow teams out, right?
Yeah.
And in the National League, there's only one team that is close to that. And well, no, actually, Milwaukee is 167. The Phillies are 122, and the Cubs are 120.
Yeah, like the Yankees are up 9-1 tonight.
Yeah, so this is the problem with them, and that's why they don't know how to manufacture runs in the days they're not hitting home runs. Like Judge has 2 home runs tonight. They don't know how to manufacture. This has been there for years. This has been there. They cannot. They just do not know how to advance the runner. They just don't do it. Yeah. They're just like hit the home runs and let's see what happens. But you can't always be that team, and you're never going to win this. You're never going to win the World Series being that type of team. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, and you know what? Brian Cashman and David Stearns, the GMs of the Yankees and the Mets, they missed at the trade deadline. I mean, they both went after multiple relief pitchers, and they've basically missed on just about every guy except Bednar. The Yankees got Bednar. The other guys, Duvall and Bird. I mean, they're Bird. I don't even think is on the roster anymore. And Duvall gave up like a bunch of runs yesterday.
Oh yeah, he was running hard.
And what Helsley for the Mets has been horrendous. Like they can't even pitch them. So they really swung and missed at the trade deadline, in my opinion. And you just with these relief pitchers, you just never know what you're going to get, even from year to year, right? Like, the closers are one aspect, but all the short relievers behind them, even Weaver has not been good this year. He got hurt.
Well, they also messed around with him. They messed around with his role. They should. Here's this is the sad part about it is when they had Weaver as a closer and Williams as a setup guy, that was working really well.
Yeah, but then he got hurt.
Yes, right. Yeah. But then I think when he came back, they should have gone back to that.
No, because they had Bednar.
Well, yeah, they had Bednar. Who's pitching well? I like him.
He's pitching great.
I always liked him on the Pittsburgh. I always had him on my fantasy team. He's a good guy. He gets things done. He could pitch an inning and a half. So in the playoffs, I'm actually happy. I think if these guys shape up a little bit, you're gonna have like 3 or 4 guys. Forget Mark Leiter Jr. Please do not put that guy in the game. Yeah, he's horrible.
And Tim Hill hasn't been good the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, I know. Maybe he'll come back too. I don't know.
He was good. Yeah.
I don't know, but they just like Leiter, like Boone just has for some reason likes to bring that guy in. He's oh my god, he lights it up.
Yeah,
he's definitely not his father. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know.
Do either of you guys think the Yankees are going to make a run in the playoffs? Though?
No. They might win the first round, but
yeah, I would agree with Brian.
They can't, Mike. They can't with this. They can't. You can't win a World Series by just hitting home runs. Now, guess what? They're going to do it. I'm going to be proven wrong. But I'll be happy. If I'm proven wrong, I'm going to be happy as hell. So,
but the pitching gets so good in the playoffs, and they don't pitch to Judge, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm. They were better last year, and they still couldn't win.
Yeah.
What are they going to do this year?
Well, they got to the World Series last year,
but they had Cole and they had Soto.
Yeah,
like Bellinger again, great. I love the guy.
I mean, if they had Cole this year, they would be great. I really do.
I do too. They would have at least 10 more wins.
Yeah.
But I think Bellinger, I like him better than Soto. You could say what you want. I just think for this team, because of his fielding, the guy is what an arm.
Yeah.
I love him.
And he catches everything. And
hey, you know what? Another interesting thing too is when was the last time the Yankees had a stolen base leader? And now again, it wasn't all with the Yankees, but
yeah,
Cavaleros is going to win.
Yeah.
He's going to win the stolen base crown, and that's just crazy how the Yankees actually have a guy who could actually. I don't. Ricky Henderson. When was the last time somebody from the Mickey Rivers? I think won one year. I don't like
Snuffy
people get
Sternweiss.
yeah,
Look it up.
Snuffy Sternweiss,
Look it up. I think he led the league in
Who?
steals.
Sternweiss. Yeah, he was.
Snuffy Sternweiss. Yeah.
So I think it's just very cool that they're going to have a guy who next year in his baseball card it'll be the Yankees stolen base leader. That cracks me up.
Yeah.
But again, I like him. Play him. Send Volpe to Somerset.
But again, he was terrible last night, Brian.
Who?
Caballeros. He
Oh,
was
yeah?
terrible. Yeah, he
Wow.
played last night. He wasn't good. So
But he has 2 stolen bases already today, I think.
yeah,
So I don't know, but I don't like Volpe. I like him as a person. He's a great kid, but he can't hit anymore. Something happened to him. He's just
Yeah.
not the guy.
yeah. I think they have to straighten him out. And
Sadly, you know who was their leading hitter in the World Series last year, or in the playoffs?
Volpe.
Volpe, yeah.
Yeah, he was great.
Remember, because you know what he did? He shortened his swing, and he wasn't trying to hit home runs, and he
Yeah.
was just trying to get on base. Now, if he could just somehow or another remember to do that, whatever he did there worked,
Yeah.
and he gets so homer happy that his swing is just messed up. It's messed up. I'm sad. So, okay, the 3 teams in the area. How about the Phillies now? The Phillies have come back into. Do you think the Phillies can win the World Series?
Well, 100%. That I fear that team. I would fear that team every year. I mean, they would dominate the Braves in the playoffs when the Braves would win the division. I just feel like the Phillies have there are those certain teams that always play well when the lights are the brightest, and I feel like that's the Phillies. Like the last couple of years, they just seem to be like such a dangerous team to me. And yeah, they just hitting well, pitching well. They got the whole Karen thing going, So
They lost Zach Wheeler though, which is a big loss.
Yeah.
Very big loss.
Yeah.
He was their ace, but
Yeah.
they have really good relievers, and they have the hitting. Believe me, they have the hitting to win.
Yeah.
So here's the playoff teams. Let's say American League really quick. Toronto, Detroit, Houston. Are you high on any of those? Super high. Detroit's been up and down. I'm not a believer in Toronto and Houston. I don't like Yankees, Boston, Seattle right now. That's if it ended today. Okay. I do like Seattle. They're a dangerous team, but again, I don't think they're as good as some of these other teams. I don't think Boston is going to win a 7-game series. So the American League is up in the air.
Yeah, I think Toronto. I think that Detroit is the biggest.
If Texas
robot
sneaks in,
that
I'd worry because they have pitching.
Yeah.
But I really just don't think any of these teams are that drop
They're
down
all
great.
they're all flawed.
Yeah, they're all flawed. Okay.
They're all flawed.
So then we go to the National League. We have Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and the Dodgers. And then you have the Cubs, the Padres, and the Mets with again, Cincinnati and San Francisco and Arizona right behind. Milwaukee's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been the best
167 run differential. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The Phillies are really good, right? And the Cubs, believe it or not, and they're in the same division as Milwaukee, so they don't. The Cubs are darn good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Dodgers have the experience.
Yes.
The Padres are right there
Padres are
too.
good, too.
Yeah. 79-67.
Only
But yeah. So I'm curious to see what happens. This will be the playoffs are going to be open. There's no clear cut team. Like last year, you kind of knew the Dodgers were coming to the World Series. You knew that.
Yeah.
And the Yankees had a clear path. Once the playoff was laid out, it was pretty easy for them to get to the World Series. It really was. They had a really good cakewalk. This year it's going to be tougher because the teams are more evenly matched. So their games are going to be fun. I like to see I always like to see the Cubs do well. I like to, I wouldn't mind the Phillies or the Cubs or Milwaukee. I wouldn't mind Milwaukee winning. I don't want Toronto to win. Detroit would be great to see win. Don't want Houston to win. Obviously, the Yankees, I would want to have them win. Besides that, I could care less.
I'm just trying to see. So who would play? I don't know how it would break down. The Yankees, who they would have to play. They would have to play the Mariners, I guess. And then the Red Sox would have to play
Holy crap.
the Astros, maybe. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It really, I don't know how that works. I think, well, they have to have the play. First of all, they have the first round, like the first. So the lowest ranked division leader plays in the wild card round, right? And then the two teams that come out of there, the lowest ranked wild card team goes and plays against the highest ranked, which would be the Milwaukee. So it really depends. That's why they're vying for position right now too. But here's an
like who
interesting
you want
stat,
to play,
guys. Here's the interesting stat of the night. Okay, we just talked about the Yankees. Hey, Yankees are 120 run differential, which is pretty cool. The negative run differential, the Colorado Rockies, 386.
Yeah,
40
it's Colorado.
wins.
386.
So I found it. It would be Seattle against the Astros, and the Yankees would play the Red Sox.
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they could beat the Red Sox.
If it ended today.
They could beat the Red Sox.
Yeah.
I think that's not. I wouldn't be. I'd be fine with that.
Mm.
I wouldn't want to have to play Houston. Something about Houston and the Yankees.
No.
I just can't. So then Seattle would be Houston. There would be Yankees, Seattle.
Yeah.
Or no, Yankees would have to play Detroit. So Detroit and Toronto are tied right now, 84 and 62. So whichever one of those two comes out of there, I would rather them play Toronto because you don't have to face Screwball because they're going to make it so he pitches. If it's a 7-game set, he's going to pitch 3 of those games.
Right.
So they're gonna. You'd rather face Toronto. You'd rather face Toronto.
Yeah.
But okay, well, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful episode. Anything else, Mike? Any signing events coming up?
Not yet, Brian. Still working on my autobiography.
You're still working on your autobiography. And Alex, no skiing or anything, or bobsledding this week or anything like that? No.
Is that a short story, Mike?
What's that?
Your autobiography, is it a short story or just a haiku?
It's 2 volumes, Alex.
It's a haiku. It's a haiku.
No skiing, nothing. No, the snow hasn't started to fall yet, Brian.
I thought you were going to go to a place that has fake snow. No.
Soon enough.
No fake snow.
The Dream Mall up there in New Jersey. Ski on that slope.
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
No, go. Don't go there. You're going to get mugged in the parking lot. I heard it's like the number one place for gangs, New York gangs to hang out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right, man.
Have a wonderful day. Hopefully this week in football will be just as fun, and we'll talk to everybody next week.
Go Giants.
Good night.
This is Tom Carvel. Thank you for listening to 3 the Hard Way Sports Podcast. Remember to get a Fudgy the Whale or Cookie Puss for the next time you're sitting down to watch the big game.